What is going on, everyone? James Hancock here. I'm back to review part 12 of season 3 of Twin Peaks. I should say in advance, I'm going to be digging into some spoilers, so if you have not seen the episode yet, definitely check it out before watching this video, because tonight's episode saw the return of Audrey Horne, played by Sherilyn Fenn. Sherilyn Fenn's an actress that I've had a huge crush on my entire life, ever since I saw The Wraith as a kid. But when it comes to characters that I most closely associate with the mystery and the sexuality and the 50s aesthetic of season 1 and season 2, no character personifies that more for me than the character of Audrey Horne. But the scene in which she appears had a lot of references to a lot of characters that I'm unfamiliar with, characters like Tina and Billy. So if anyone knows who these characters are, I would greatly appreciate a heads up as to who those people might be, because her scene, while it was a welcome change to see her back, I have to say, I neither enjoyed it nor did I dislike it. I was just bewildered because I had no idea what the hell was going on. So if somebody is watching this video with the hopes that I can illuminate who these people are that they're talking about, I should warn you in advance, I am just as bewildered. And if somebody does have that information, please share it. I would greatly appreciate it. But I'm starting to kind of put the cart in front of the horse by getting to this final scene before even talking about the episode. So maybe we should talk a little bit about the episode first before we get to that. I should say that I think part 12, while we're at the 2/3 mark of the overall season, wasn't necessarily my favorite episode. I thought part 11 was absolutely phenomenal. But this one definitely just, it lacked any of those like great standout scenes that really make this season so special. Whereas part 11 had several of those scenes that really just like blew my mind. But for fans of the lore of the show, it had some great scenes where Gordon Cole and Albert bring in Tammy essentially into their inner circle, talk about the history of the Blue Rose Task Force, and they talk about how they haven't really had any new members in a long time and that a lot of them have disappeared, but that they want Tammy to be the latest inductee, and she is flattered to be invited into their prestigious ranks. So that was a pretty cool combination of both history of what they're all about, as well as some much needed new blood joining their ranks. For people who've been complaining that this season doesn't have enough Twin Peaks in Twin Peaks, I feel like this episode gave us a ton of Twin Peaks. We see Laura Palmer's mom, Sarah, acting kind of bewildered and crazed. We see her stocking up on vodka in the grocery store while she's hearing all these crazy sounds and acting really confused about jerky. Deputy Hawk comes to visit her later on, and she's kind of holding it together, but there's these strange noises coming from inside her house, and Hawk tries to be very polite and says, look, if you need help, if you need my assistance, just let me know. I'm here for you. But he leaves without really investigating any further. We see that Miriam Sullivan is recovering in the hospital. She was the character who emerged from the woods at the beginning of part 11 after Richard Horne tried to kill her. And Sheriff Truman goes to see Ben Horne to tell him that Richard's on a rampage, that he ran over the little boy, that he tried to kill Miriam since she was the witness. And Ben admits that he has not been in contact with Richard for quite some time because he's been refusing to give him any more money, but he does want to cover Miriam's hospital bills because he feels responsible for his relative's actions. But after the conversation about Richard, we do get a great little bit where Ben tells Sheriff Truman about the key that arrived in the mail and his desire to give it to Harry, who is the brother of Sheriff Truman. And I always loved Harry in the original show, so it's cool to at least see that character be acknowledged. Probably the most bizarre scene in the episode, which I absolutely loved, but didn't necessarily further the plot along. Albert comes to Gordon Cole's room to give him some information, and Gordon Cole's entertaining a really, really beautiful, stylish French woman, and they're drinking wine. And when he asks her to wait for him downstairs in the bar, she takes like 5 minutes to essentially kind of get herself together and leave. And David Lynch is just grinning from ear to ear every step of the way. And yeah, he's telling her a story when Albert arrives. So I don't know if their relationship is a sexual one or if he's old enough where he just likes the company of a beautiful woman. In any case, Albert gives Cole a report about Diane's texts that are going to and from her phone. And in this episode in particular, Gordon Cole seems to have a lot of trouble hearing accurately and keeps responding in the incorrect way, thinking he's heard something different. But he has this nice long scene where he's rubbing Albert's shoulders and finally says, I worry about you a lot sometimes. And it's just a very, very sweet, tender moment between these two actors. And it's that much more affecting since Miguel Ferrer unfortunately did pass away recently. Jennifer Jason Leigh and Tim Roth are back in this episode, aka Hutch and Chantel. And we see them carrying out some of the orders of the evil Dale Cooper as they take out Warden Dwight Murphy. It's a pretty ruthless scene with Tim Roth, and they're basically talking about Wendy's and not even really paying attention, but they take this guy out with a sniper rifle in front of the guy's son. It's pretty violent, pretty brutal, but then they move on about their business. They're just, you know, cold-blooded killers doing what their bosses told them to. Let me get a little bit more humor with the scene of Dr. Amp doing this dig yourself out of shit commercial, which is kind of funny, but not necessarily the world's most important scene in terms of driving all the plot forward. But then we finally get back to the scene that I mentioned at the beginning of Audrey Horne talking to her husband Charlie, who's a little guy, and he keeps complaining about how much work he has to do and how sleepy he is, and she just keeps harassing him, talking about, we need to find Billy, we need to go look for Billy at the roadhouse, etc. She admits that she has been fucking Billy, and that he calls Tina and he gets some information, but he won't share it immediately with Audrey. Like I said, I have no deep insights to offer on this particular scene, in that I do not know who these characters are or how they're going to figure into the plot. Perhaps it has something to do with the conversation that is the very last scene of the episode with those two girls talking in the roadhouse, because I didn't quite follow that scene either. And yeah, it's one of the reasons I think I was a little frustrated with the scene. I don't mind a little confusion or a little mystery in general to Lynch, but when it comes to really, really specific plot-oriented details, it was a little frustrating. I was having trouble. However, once again, Twin Peaks is a very, very complex tapestry with a lot of characters and a lot of plot lines, and sometimes it's hard to keep them all in your head unless you're one of those people that's seen every single episode 100 times over. So perhaps the confusion is my fault, not the show's. But once again, if anybody has any insights into these final scenes and the characters they are referencing, I would greatly appreciate it, because I have a feeling this is going to be a discussion that's ongoing for the next couple days, and I want to be a part of it. But the one little part about that scene that I did like was the return of the band, the Chromatics. My favorite part of the musical sequences in the Roadhouse to date, out of all 12 episodes of this season, has definitely been the show-stopping tune by the Chromatics that was at the end of the premiere, but which is technically at the end of part 2. So once again, not the world's most exciting episode, not the world's most memorable episode, but we did have some nice development on a few plot lines, and it's great to see Audrey back. But this is not going to be an episode that replaces anybody's favorite, which it seems like the consensus amongst a lot of people is that episode 8 remains, if not the best, one of the best episodes so far. But we have 6 episodes to go. I'm very, very fired up to see how things draw to a close. I mean, if you think about it, there's not that much time left to wrap up all these stories. I think for people who want to see Agent Dale Cooper in full control of his personality and mind again, they might be disappointed. It might be one of those things where he becomes Dale Cooper in the very last episode, because, like I said, there's just not that much time left to work with. But I remain as invested as always. I remain absolutely fascinated. And I'll just be very, very sad when this show draws to a close. So once again, I sincerely appreciate all the support for this channel. I sincerely appreciate people taking the time to watch my recaps and reviews and analysis, etc. If you want to talk more, give me a shout on Twitter at Colbrax, or leave a comment in the comments below. And I'll be back in the very near future to review the latest episode of Game of Thrones. Thank you so much for watching.